Welcome, producer Jimmy and all my friends. Well, I'm off today to my old friend Murrayfield to do what is known as my annual Dementia prevention program. I think we all got offered it. A lot of players got offered it, or ex-players got offered it. But I wanted to share with people what it's like to be an ex-athlete, especially in a contact sport like rugby, and I suppose what things are available to us when we retire. And there's loads of stuff around rugby, isn't there, and the contact and concussion and all of these things. But I think for me, like more personally, I've got dementia in my family, both sides of the family, and like it says on the tin, dementia prevention program. I came this time last year, very extensive cognitive tests. I said ECG, blood tests, and yeah, I don't know what happens if an adverse result comes back. We've not got that far yet. So it's pandemonium here. As I say, Oasis were on last night. It's a Tuesday night show. I came at the weekend. Look at the amount of tenants. Hey? Attaboy. That's when you know you're in Scotland, hey?
Obviously, you've been here before, so you kind of know the gig. We're doing this research because we want to identify biological and psychological factors that can increase the risk of dementia in later life by looking at a midlife cohort, so everyone that's between the ages of 40 and 59 when they begin this study. We're doing this because changes in a person's blood and in their brain can be seen years, if not decades, sometimes before symptoms of dementia actually start to appear, but a lot of the research that's going on at the moment is looking at people who are already over the age of 60 or who already have dementia. So we're hoping our research is going to help us identify one, who's at a greater risk, and then two, see if any preventative measures that are being used at the moment are having an impact without having to wait decades for the results. You're part of our newest sports cohorts. We've got a bunch of ex-rugby and ex-footballers to come in, and we're going to hopefully compare you guys with our original around 700 participants from our different sites to see if there's an increased risk from having played these sports. So today, once I've sort of gone through this process with you, I've got a couple of basic questionnaires that I'll go through with you. It's mostly just to catch up from last time. Then about 10 o'clock, you'll get your bloods taken. For your fasting glucose level, we'll take you downstairs for breakfast because you'll probably be a bit hungry or desperately needing some caffeine at this point, so potentially. Once that's all done, I'm going to process your blood samples. Once I'm finished with that, I'll come bring you back up. There's a couple of other clinical assessments. You'll get your ECG done then, and then there's the cognitive assessments today. And then I think the only other thing I need to tell you is just if you ever want to withdraw from the study, just give me a shout, and that's totally fine. Any questions about all of that?
No, all good. This is Hannah, by the way. So the lovely Hannah, and you've explained it very well, because I was trying to explain like what it is, and I kind of gave a very kind of superficial one-line. I kind of do know what it is, and I know it's incredibly important, but there's been a slight, well, maybe it's not, because it's the Prevent Dementia program. But we're in the brain... SBS, so Scottish Brain Science. Scottish Brain Science. Can you just explain that to me? Because we were chatting on the phone. I've chatted to Craig as well, who we're going to chat later. And Scottish Rugby have been really good, and James Robson, my former doctor, of kind of really championing what is a really uncomfortable subject in our sport, right? But maybe just because we're at Murrayfield, the iconic stadium. So do they just kind of give a little bit of free rein to do it all out of here?
So basically, because SBS was created by Craig and then Prevent was also created by Craig, we've recently switched sponsors to the University of St Andrews, and when we did that, Craig was sort of like, I would like all of my children together in one place, I suppose. So that's why we moved over here once we moved from the University of Edinburgh.
So I'm signing this as
please.
Just say
So if you just do your initials here, and then there's some on the other side of the box to tick as well.
Yeah. Because I remember last time we were laughing, weren't we, at some of the tests and stuff like that. I was telling Jimmy there, but they're very extensive.
Yes,
do you know what I mean? So I wouldn't normally spend a day concentrating as much as I did. So
you are pretty knackered by the end of it.
Yeah.
The first thing we'll do is a saliva sample. You may remember them from last time.
So what do I need to do again?
So if you pop off the blue top and then just tip it into your mouth without touching it with your hands, I'll time it for about a minute if you just chew it, swirl it around, just to collect a saliva sample. And then we'll get cracking. On you go whenever you're ready.
I was chopping stuff the other day.
Okay, there we go. It's not the nicest thing, first thing in the morning, especially when you haven't had any breakfast or anything, but for research. Thank you, and then I'll just keep that there for now and put it in the fridge later. So this next one's called the apathy inventory. It is as it sounds. Typically we use this more for someone who's close to being diagnosed with dementia or who might have a dementia diagnosis already, so the questions might seem a little bit strange. But when I ask them if you maybe think about yourself like 5-10 years ago and see if there's been any sort of decline or negative change in what I'm asking, if that makes sense. But do you have the impression of being as affectionate as usual? Do you express your emotions?
Yes.
Yes. Lovely. And do you spontaneously begin a conversation? Do you make decisions and initiatives?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And do you still have points of interest like hobbies? Are you still interested in other people and their activities and projects and such? Yeah. Lovely. Are you able to take care of all your shopping needs independently? Yeah. Are you able to plan, prepare and serve adequate meals independently? Yeah. Are you able to maintain the house alone with occasional assistance?
Yeah.
Yep. So that's all the questionnaires actually done and out of the way. So the next thing we'd be doing is cognitive assessments, but we'll need to do your blood sample first. So I will need to go check if the nurse is free. He should be. And then we'll go get that done.
Okay, thank you.
Lovely, no problem.
I just like looking out the windows as well.
Are you okay?
I think so. Thank you very much.
With you, so we'll do blood pressure.
Oh gosh. What is it called? White collar? Is it called? Fever?
No idea.
When you know your blood pressure goes high because you get worried about it.
Oh, I don't know actually.
It's called white collar.
Oh, there we go.
What do you reckon?
Got absolutely no idea.
Have a guess.
If you can have a wee stand.
I'm going to say 118.8.
Did you weigh yourself this morning?
No.
You cheating?
Oh, heavy. Oh, clove, that's why.
That's fine, right?
119.6.
6, lovely. Okay, right. I don't actually know if
There we
you'll fit all the
go.
way.
Yeah, I should do.
That one says 203.
203.
So you're shrinking.
I'm shrinking, yeah.
Lie down and then you'll need to sort of just relax for 5 minutes. And then I'll start taking some blood pressure readings. So we're going to do 3 while you're lying down and then we'll do 1 while you're standing up as well.
So I'm with Craig. Craig's the main man. This is yours. This is your thing, isn't it?
This is my thing. This all started about, well, the whole project started about 11 years ago with a sort of general population study for Prevent, and then I guess it must be 4 or 5 years ago we started seeing rugby players. And it's public knowledge, but because he made a BBC documentary about it, the first person that we did this with in the main study was Shane Williams.
Yeah.
So he came into the project, and then we thought, as well as his involvement, we thought this is a high risk population. There's all a story obviously about head injury and contact sport and dementia risks. So we thought, let's build the project out to look at rugby players and football players. So yeah, here we are.
Not only do you get this every year, it's kind of full MOT as well, which is actually very nice as an ex-athlete to get that done, because that's not there. Like that's what I mean. You talk about aftercare in athletes and sports, and again, looking at other sports that I'm interested in, UFC, boxing, NFL. There's so much support thereafter. When the athlete retires, you've given your body, you've given all your emotion, you've given your brain to the game.
I think one of the key people in all of this in Scotland was James Robson. So James, I was on a call actually, it was an RPA thing during COVID that Ben Kay had organised. And he'd known about the work that we were doing in Prevent and the work we were doing in sort of general population about brain health. And I didn't know James then, and I didn't even know he was on that call. But immediately afterwards, James contacted me and said, "Loved what you guys were talking about. We should talk more about doing something directly with Scottish Rugby." Yeah. So I think this is what led to the Brain Health Clinic, which was the kind of the aftercare for the former player, if you like, dovetailing with the science, which is the Prevent program. So there's two sides to the same coin. One is it's really important to do the research and to get the real hardcore evidence for what's going on and what we can do about it. But almost like building the plane while you're flying it, let's also not just do research forever, let's see what can we actually do with former players, if you like, clinically. And I think, like we chatted about before, I think because of the leadership of James, but also the connectivity within Scottish Rugby, this is the ideal place in the world to do it.
Yeah.
And the fact that, now with what we're doing with Scottish Brain Sciences, we're actually inside Murrayfield, just I think there's another demonstration of that relationship. So I'm just going to put 6 across your chest, mate.
James Robson was my doctor for my whole 10 years of playing for Scotland, and everything from getting eyes stitched, mouth stitched, broken legs, broken feet. You know what I mean?
Legs plural, I like.
I know,
exactly.
But even the emotional side is there. Like James, for me, was ahead of his time as well, because he wouldn't be flustered by the coaches, and you could see that there's always that kind of the push. Is he fit to train? Is he fit to play? And James was always in the corner of the player, which is so important, right? And I've been in clubs and stuff where that isn't the case. Who's paying for this? Craig, like
this
study?
Like
this study and stuff, because I imagine this is an expensive day for me to be here with all the staff. And
we can never thank them enough, but the funding for this comes from Alzheimer's Society.
Okay.
Which is obviously a charity based down in England. They don't actually cover fundraising up in Scotland, but they do provide grants to Scottish researchers. But we set this up, like I say, 11 years ago when I actually worked at Imperial College in London. And they funded the original project, but then they also provided an additional grant to look at the rugby players. And in football, which we're also recruiting, we've got the FA and FIFA supporting that. So there's been quite a few people coming in to help support the research, which is...
So the FA are supporting it. Does our game support it? I don't know how candid you can be.
I'm not.
Like, is there any money being thrown?
We haven't needed to.
Yeah.
I think what Scottish Rugby have done with James and with Chris Patterson, and I'm sure they won't mind me saying this, is kind of, amplify the study to the former players. Mm-hmm. We didn't actually need funding from them to do this, so I think the thing that Scottish Rugby have done is just showcase it, so that people know about it and people come forward. And I think there's also a lot of word of mouth within the community. To get the recruitment. And I think the other thing worth emphasising, you may have said this already, is but there's equal numbers of female players in this study as there are males. I think it's like 30, 32, I can't remember which way that goes. Because I think one of the things that we're really keen to understand is how this, playing contact sport affects women maybe differently to men, vice versa. So
what happens if anything comes up that's like adverse?
We had this line in the consent form where we'll share information back with you if anything's clinically meaningful. So for instance, for the brain scanning you have done, or the heart tracing we're doing now, or the blood test we do, if you've got abnormalities in the heart tracing, if you've got high cholesterol, high blood pressure, then we'll let your GP know, and then you do the necessary. And with the brain imaging, there have been occasions where we've picked up things which are unexpected. We call them incidental findings, and both in the main study and also in the rugby one. And I think that feeds into what you're saying, like the MOT. You wouldn't take your car for an MOT and then they just go, right, we've done it now, and then you walk out. They'll tell you whether something needs fixed or something needing done. So I think that's an important part of this. This almost like this relationship we have. Yes, we want the science, yes, we want the data, we want to do the analysis, but we also want to provide something back in return. And I think that's where this sharing findings that are relevant is important. And the other thing is that as time progresses, we learn more and more about these diseases. Different things may become relevant now that weren't known to be relevant 5 years ago. And I think that's also where we move forward with things. So, it's part of a partnership
Yeah.
between you and the researchers to make sure that we're A, we're getting the great science, but B, we're also doing things to support you. So when the electrical signal runs around the heart, it goes from the top in the atrium down to the ventricles, and it has if you like, there's a node in the middle called the AV node, and it sends a signal down the left side of the heart, the right side of the heart, and it should be completely synchronous. Okay, sometimes it's a little bit out of kilter, and that's what can be called right bundle branch block. So it's going down the right side at a different time to the left side. Good news is I've got the same thing, and it usually happens when people have got so slow heart rate, and your pulse was 47. So it's kind of a thing when you see it in, dare say, athletes or former athletes, you go, that's just physiologically normal. So you've got a finding, but it's something that is almost completely normal in athletes. So
I've heard that before.
No big deal. RBB, right?
RBB. Oh.
So, but that's, dare say I've got the same thing. We've got big, strong hearts, so it just seems that's just the way we were built.
There we go.
So,
Got a big heart.
got a big heart.
Last week had 130
Yeah.
kilograms, so that was pretty good. So first and foremost, if you could just hold on to it and see if the grip feels okay, or if you need it expanded, or
That's okay.
that one okay. So
Expanded, what do you mean?
expanded, so you can move it up so that your
definitely move
grip
it
will be
up.
bigger.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fine. I'll change that just now. So basically, I'm going to get you to do 3 measurements on each hand, and you just have to squeeze as hard as you can, basically.
Okay.
Right. Has Craig got that? There we go, and go. Oh, yeah, you're good. So that's about 180, so doing pretty good.
180, I'll take that.
Yep. So second one, whenever you're ready, and go.
Okay.
Go, yeah. Nice, excellent. And that is about 180 again.
Okay.
So you can go 3 for 3.
Okay.
Okay, and go. Yep, keep going. Excellent. That one is about 175, so just a little bit short, but that's pretty normal. Okay, thank you.
Alrighty.
Press the space bar as quickly as possible when you see the clown appear. We'll start with a few practice runs.
Oh, I've done this one, remember this?
Yep.
Ready? Okay. This was like the original cog test we used to do. When the card flicked up, you had to
okay.
flick it. These are easy. Back where it all started. This was it, the theatre of dreams. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the small vlog. Producer Jimmy's been on the journey with me today. It's great to reminisce and be back in the stadium, but super important that I show you guys what goes on after rugby as an ex-athlete. Brilliant team here. Big shout out to James Robson, big shout out to Dr. Craig and Hannah for taking me through the process and allowing us to film it as well. You know the drill. If you liked what you saw, like, subscribe. We've also mainly going to be putting podcasts out, so please get on board with them. I appreciate every single one of you. Stay cool.